Ladies, good morning. God bless everyone. Wishing everyone a beautiful, blessed, amazing, uplifting, healthy, God-filled day. Ladies, today we got a special video, okay? We are going to talk about my journey. Now, my journey has been a journey that will blow your mind because it's blown my mind the way it's unfolded. And it could only be the work of the Lord, ladies. That's the only thing I could think of. But let me start from the beginning. So for those who don't know me, my name is Allison, also known as the Uplifter. Why the Uplifter? Because I enjoy uplifting people. I enjoy making people smile. I enjoy having ladies wipe their tears and build some strength to walk this journey. Cancer is not an easy journey. I am a triple negative breast cancer patient, cancer free. My tumor was over here. Listen, it's the scariest moment of our lives. Okay, there's no fun about cancer. Okay, but when we have to walk a journey like this, we need to find the positives in this journey. Okay, we need to see what the purpose of this journey is. And for me, from day one, I said, I don't have cancer. God's got another plan for me. I said it from the very beginning. From the day I saw the doctor for the first time, I told her, I said, I believe what you're telling me, Doc. But I also believe God's got a different plan for me. And she liked that. And, she said, that's a good way to look at it. And you know what, ladies? I did all my treatment. I walked the road the Lord put me on. And I believe, and I truly believe in my heart that He put me on this road so I know what it's like, so I could be able to be one who is gonna go ahead and get His words to your ears. So I'm the vessel. He's using me as the vessel. And I truly believe that. And some might think I'm crazy, and that's okay. We all have our own opinions, but that's my thought, that's my theory, and that's what I'm doing. I do it naturally. The words, I don't have any scripts. They just come out, and I feel that's God talking to me with the responses I get from you ladies, that you need to hear it, and that it helped you, and that, all these beautiful messages I get from you ladies, it's not me. It's God who's driving me, and that's my belief, and that's what I will continue to believe. So, ladies, my testimony is pretty strong, okay? It has unfolded in ways that will blow your mind, but it's only proof, in my opinion, how powerful our Lord is. So I'm going to go ahead through the dates and then unfold them as they happen. So in September of 2019 is when I felt the lump. October is when I went for my mammogram, and a couple of weeks later for my sonogram. And then on December 4th, I was scheduled for the biopsy. December 8th, I was given the results. January 16th was my first doctor's appointment. The following Monday was my first chemo. June 2nd was my last day of chemo. July 10th was my surgery. August 11th was radiation. And Xeloda pills was given to me towards the end of September of 2020. So all that happened within 1 year, ladies. Okay, and then I ended the Xeloda in March of 2021. So now I'm just waiting for clinical trial. So I'm cancer free. Thank you, Jesus. But I still walk the journey. I feel that we will always have to walk this journey and be cautious. I've changed my diet for the most part. I mean, I'm not saying I went and no, I'm trying to eat everything organic for the most part. If you look up on organic food, no GMOs in there. That's what we need in our bodies. We need clean food in our bodies. Grass-fed meat. I am only buying now grass-fed beef. I'm trying, ladies. But anyway, everybody's circumstances is different. I'm not saying you have to do what I tell you. I'm just telling you what I've done. Everybody is walking this path, the same direction, but we all have different paths that we live. We all live differently. Okay, I'm touched and honored to know that my video is getting around the world, the UK, Japan, Australia. I mean, all around the world, you ladies hear my videos, and like, I'm so honored for that, and I'm honored the way I'm able to lift you up. And again, I don't get the credit. Our Lord gets the credit, so always thank him. So with no further ado, let's get started, ladies. So in September of 2019, when I felt that lump, I wasn't so concerned because I started reading, oh, there's many reasons why women get breast lumps, this and that. Okay, so I wasn't too worried. But when I went to the doctor, which I should have went for the mammogram, but I went to a regular doctor first. He then sent me to get my mammogram. Well, when I went to go get my mammogram, a couple of weeks later, I received a letter in the mail saying that I need a sonogram because, you know, they want to get a better look because my breasts were dense. Fine. I went for the sonogram later on in October. Then I get another letter stating that there's a suspicious finding that we need to do a biopsy. That was in the beginning of November of 2019. Okay, well, I put that letter down for a few days. And for those who don't know, I am a professional photographer in Miami. And I like to photograph children with special needs. They're beautiful humans. They're very misunderstood. And children with ADHD and autism, they are my favorite clients. They're beautiful people. Like I said, they're misunderstood, and I have that connection with them. So I received this private message on Facebook, and it was a gentleman, and I call him my walking angel. His name is Hernan, and he was inquiring about photography services. So I gave him some information, and, you know, we messaged back and forth, and then we wound up speaking on the phone, you know, to better explain what I do and what I offer. It was better communication. So on that phone call, I asked him, you know, what do you do? And what do you do for a living? And he told me he's a former radiologist. Wow. Much little did I know what was about to come. So I told him, I said, sir, you know, it would be best if we meet. So, you know who I am. I know who you are. You could relate to me. You could see who I am. You know, if you hire me, I'm going to be photographing your child. You want to know your child with special needs, who you're hiring. And I can show you my work. Anyway, he said, sure. I brought that letter with me, ladies. Yes, I did. So we met at a local coffee shop. He purchased me a coffee. Really nice gentleman. We sat down. We talked for about an hour. And towards the end of our conversation, I had the guts to say, Hernan, would you mind looking at this and telling me, you know, a little bit of info on it? It was a letter from the biopsy, you know, that I should get a biopsy. So he read it, and he read it again. And he told me, well, he said, I see that, you know, you found a lump, is that right? And I said, yes. And he said, okay, well, you know, they're calling you in for biopsy. What they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and inject you, take a little piece out, and, you know, send it off to the labs and, you know, see what it comes back with. So I was like, okay. So towards the end of our conversation, as we were heading out of the coffee shop, after a nice long conversation and a little relief that somebody professionally looked at that letter and at least gave me some kind of insight, we were walking towards the door, and he said, you know, if you don't have anybody to go with you to your biopsy, I don't mind going. And I said, well, I appreciate that. Keep that in mind. I said, let me make the appointment, and, you know, I'll let you know. Well, I made the appointment a few days later, and I thought about it, and I said, you know what? I don't want my kids to know anything. My kids didn't know. They didn't know anything. By the way, in September, my daughter got married of 2019, and I photographed her wedding. So I did not mention anything about the lump. I kept everything on the down low. Nobody knew. So I go to the biopsy, ladies, December 4th. Now, Hernan said, I could pick you up. Just tell me what time. I was like, no, you know, this is a guy I wasn't sure of. I said, no, that's okay. I will meet. So we met. It wasn't far from his home. It wasn't too far from my home. We met there. You know, he told me just, you know, keep calm and do what you got to do. So we walk in the clinic, give my paperwork. He sat down, and I waited for my name to be called, and I went in. Ladies, 3 hours this guy waited. Now, this is a stranger. 3 hours he waited. I was like, wow, okay. I walked out, and he was there, because I was thinking, this guy's not going to be there. It's like 3 hours. He was there, ladies. Not only was he there, he got up, he said, let's go have breakfast. He went over with the procedure, what I just did. And again, he explained to me, what's going to happen from here on out. Okay. Well, we parted our ways. I went to work. He went his way. Now, mind you, ladies, this gentleman is a retired radiologist who worked in Miami in a hospital as the top radiologist for years. Then he became a professor in a local college for years. And now he's a tutor for those students who have already finished their course and now are ready to get their license. That's what he does. So we parted our ways. A few days later, I get the phone call. I was in my job. It was about 10 o'clock in the morning on December 8th. And I went in a back room, listened to what the radiologist said and what she suggested. And I was like, okay. I hung up with her. I digested it a little bit. I called Hernan. Busted out crying. Didn't cry on the phone with the doctor, but I busted out crying. And he calmed me down and he said, listen, he said, if it's okay with you, let's meet at the same location, 5 o'clock. Are you up for it? I said, okay. So I hung up with Hernan. By the way, back up a little bit. After I did the biopsy, I emailed my children and I told them that Mom was scared. And they said, scared of what? And then I explained to them what I just did. I did the biopsy. So, they were concerned, but they were hopeful. So when I get the phone call and called Hernan, then that's when I called my little girl. And I was crying and I told her, and it was very heartbreaking for everybody. Anyway, moving forward. So I meet Hernan at 5 o'clock at the coffee shop. He had went out and purchased this book for me. And he gave it to me. Of course, as we sat down and we talked for a few minutes, and then he presented the book to me. And he said, read it. He said, it's going to give you a lot of information. And I thanked him for it. And we talked. He calmed me down. He explained to me how I need to explain to my son the situation so I don't hit him hard, because he was 15 at that time. Now he's 16. And he explained to me all that, and he looked at me and he said, you're not in this alone. He said, I don't know you, but I'm going to be there for you. I looked at him and I was like, I appreciate that. He said, I'm not looking for anything in return, so don't worry about that. We need to worry about getting you back to health. I was like, wow, okay. So, ladies, after that, I told my boss about it. And my boss apparently spoke with her husband, who happens to be a firefighter in the Fort Lauderdale area. And she came back to me the next day and she says, my husband recommended Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center. And I was like, okay, I'll look into it. So I was thinking of going to Cleveland because that's the only one I knew for cancer. And then I looked into Memorial. Memorial never called me back, so I wiped them off my list, even though they are a good cancer center as well. I looked into Sylvester. My brother from Orlando had me on the phone for hours. We were going through doctors, looking at their profile, looking at their history, seeing if they have any malpractice, look at their credentials, how many years they went to school, where they went to school. Oh, my brother had me intensively investigating these doctors that would soon be the ones who are helping me. So I'm very gratified of that. So I get the appointment. I call Hernan, and I told him what my day was. Listen, ladies, this guy, was my walking angel. He was dropped down right at the moment that I needed somebody, and he guided me to where I needed to be. Ladies, he picked me up for my appointment to go see my oncologist. To go see my oncologist on December 16th was, the December 13th was my first oncologist appointment. And we went over everything. He had a book. He already had all his questions written down, what he wanted to ask the oncologist. He filled it in. He asked her all the right questions that I would not have been able to even think of because I'm new at this. And my journey began. So they scheduled me for a bone test, bone scan, a CAT scan, another mammogram, and a sonogram, and blood tests. Ladies, you know all about it. So I had to go. This guy would pick me up for every single test. He would wipe his schedule clean from his students that he had a tutor and put them a day before or a day after or whenever it was convenient for the students. And he would take me. He would pick me up from either my job or my home. He would pay tolls. He would pay gas. He took me out to eat. He paid for parking. Like, he did everything, never asked for anything in return. And he looked at me one of those days and he said, listen, I'm not looking for anything in return, as I already told you. I'm doing this because every day I help you, I'm earning another day at life. And I thought that was like, it blew my mind. So, we got to know each other, in that way. He told me about his, what he was struggling in the whole 9 yards. And, we were an inspiration to each other. So he took me to all my appointments. He held my hand. He went through everything I went through. He would go home and he would explain to me, what this meant. We wouldn't go home. We would go meet in a local place, and he would go over everything. Well, first day of chemo was January 16th. Went in for my labs. Everything was clear. Ooh, sat there. It was a 6-hour day between preparing and talking and getting the first portion of the chemo, waiting about 30 minutes or so, make sure I didn't have any reaction. And then it was, they sit there and the red devil, which I call Jesus' blood, they had to, of course, in my port, administer it. It was a long day. My brother surprised me there. Hernan actually documented it. He took photos. Now, the one thing that I did not like was the Neulasta. That I still have horrible memories of that, and I don't want to think about it. I just didn't like it. I didn't like that there was a needle that was inserted in me and stayed in me for all those hours, and then after 12 hours, it dispersed the medication. Listen, I did not like that. But it was necessary. So I had my 4 ACs, and my first one, it was great the first week. Didn't have no side effects, nothing. I'm like, wow, this is great. Until day number 8 of dose 1. Well, I went to work that morning and I just didn't feel right. I'm like, well, maybe it's the reaction of the chemo. Maybe it's just starting to kick in. Well, I just didn't feel good. So they told me, go to the doctor. Go home. You need to go to the doctor. You look really pale. So I did. So I went home. Now, I called up my son's father because everybody was at work. I didn't want to bother Hernan because he had class. I called up my son's father. Now, my son's father, we're not together, but we're good friends. He is one to never be on time. Like, never, ladies. It doesn't matter if it's a funeral, if it's a birthday, if it's a birth of a new child. It doesn't matter. He's late everywhere. But I called him up and I said, Louis, I need to go to the hospital. I'm not feeling well, and I don't want to drive my van all the way out there. It was about 12 miles from my home, and I didn't want to risk it. Ladies, he was there within 30 minutes. I was like, I can't believe you came this quick, and I appreciate it. Took me to the hospital, across the street from the cancer center, and I was diagnosed with neutropenia fever. Yep, admitted, 5 days in the hospital. My blood count went down to 50. It was very delicate. I didn't know how bad it was until after I got out of the hospital. I was like, wow. Guess who came there? Of course, my walking angel. I had my family come. All my family. They all came and visited me. And to back up a little bit, At that time when I had my appointments, which one of them was December 24th, I think that was my bone scan. Yes, it was my bone scan. And on December 31st, I had my port installed. But on Christmas, my Christmas gift, I only pulled out a couple of things. My daughter gave me a wig because she knew I was going to go bald. She gave me a bunch of masks, which I still have some. Lysol wipes. She got me like the whole entire chapstick, lotion for my arms, pens that had cancer on it, books of cancer. I mean, she got me like this entire kit for Christmas. It was like mind-boggling. I was like, wow, thank you, child. So that was great. Listen, I was ready for the pandemic way before anybody pretty much around the world was. I was already armed and ready. So anyway, I go to, I get out of the hospital after neutropenia, and the doctor said, well, you can't get your scheduled chemo because your body has to recuperate a little bit. Let's give it a little bit more time. Well, that was great because that week that I didn't have to do chemo, which I was supposed to, was my birthday. I didn't have to do chemo on my birthday week, so I celebrated my birthday. Yes. So I go to round number 2, February 3rd, which was a Monday. And I go in, do the chemo. Hernan was there, of course. He's the one who picked me up, brought me there. And round number 2, as the days went by, I started feeling fatigue. And I started noticing that my hair was, a few strands. I said, oh, okay, maybe this is just from me combing it. Well, I had already scheduled, I told my daughter, schedule a beautician to go ahead and cut my hair short. Well, ladies, the day I was scheduled to cut my hair is the day I was taking a shower and I was washing my hair, and I go like this, and it was a clunk of hair. I was like, oh. I didn't panic. I said, you know what? As soon as I get out of the shower, I'm scheduled to go see the lady to cut my hair. Everything's gonna be good. Did that. I don't remember that date, but I did that. It was soon after the second dose, so it was sometime mid-February. And then when after I got my hair cut, I enjoyed it, ladies. It was so awesome. The haircut, I was so happy with it. She did such a beautiful job. I was like thrilled with it. It made me look like a biker. I don't know. I just felt like a biker. Anyway, I enjoyed the hair for 1 week. Once the clunks started showing, the little patches, I said, that's it. So I enjoyed it literally 1 week. My son-in-law had to shave my head. Ladies, that's when reality hit. That I'm really a cancer patient. That's when reality hit. What was I to do? I can't just sit around and cry. I cried for a moment. I did. My daughter had part of the package for Christmas. She got me these awesome, beautiful caps. Ladies who has followed me, you ladies know what they are. They're the ones with the big bow. I mean, she really decked me out. She did great. And then Hernan, he bought me these scarves that were awesome also. Actually, when we were in the chemo class, he made a comment about being bald, and I started crying. So as a sorry of his, he went out and bought me 2 beautiful scarves, which I will always cherish. It's a cap, and then it has like a scarf on it. It's really nice. And so with that, I went ahead and I did my first photo shoot, professional photo shoot. I had my son-in-law do it. He did an okay job. He's not a photographer, so I can't complain. And I documented that. Okay. So, ladies, round number 3. I remember being in work the day before I was to go to chemo. At that point, I had changed my appointments from Monday to Tuesday because it was easier for Hernan. So it was on a Monday. The lady in my job says, "Oh, aren't you doing chemo?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Get ready because I'm not gonna feel good. I know these side effects are gonna kick my butt." Guess what? That's exactly what happened. It kicked my butt. Ladies, it gave me such fatigue, okay, that I literally could not walk my daily walk, because I walk every day. Every 5 days a week, I walk for an hour. I've been for years. And I couldn't do my walk. I told my boss I need to go in my van and take a nap. She would let me go out there for an hour. Ladies, never missed work. Okay, I worked the entire journey except when I was furloughed because of the country shutdown. So that week passed, and I told myself, getting closer to the next one, to number 4, which, by the way, number 3, my sister attended that chemo session with me, and number 4, my mother-in-law did as well. I said, I will never say I'm going to get bad side effects again. I said, I'm never going to do that. That was a huge mistake I made. From then on, I looked at it in a positive way. Okay, so I go to round number 4. I finish AC. Thank you, Lord. No more Neulasta. No more of that little square, little oval, whatever you want to call it. Ugh, that was horrible. So I got through AC. And I was red, of course, bald and beautiful, rocking it. So I go and I get ready to do, the Taxol. Country shut down. Nobody's allowed to go with you to your treatments. All alone, ladies. Uh-oh. Well, there I found myself. Hernan couldn't go with me. He felt really bad about it. Ladies, I had my entire family scheduled to go to one of my sessions. My family each had a date. My family members wanted to all have a chance to be there with me. COVID stole that from them. Unfortunately, I had to go through the rest of my treatments by myself. Still am. And it made me strong. I may have been alone, but I really wasn't alone because I had the Lord with me the entire journey. So, ladies, I talked to my pastor, and he said, before you go into chemo, message me, and we're going to pray together. So we prayed together each and every session. Now, the first 4 sessions of chemo, I cried. I cried number 1 because I didn't know what to expect. I cried number 2 because I was still scared. Round number 3 and round number 4, there was still fear in me. But when I got to the Taxol and the pastor started praying for me, it was like all my fears melted away. It was like, I got this. I'm going to do good. I could do this. I could handle it. And I felt at ease every time. Every day, every time I went there, he prayed. And I was at ease. And I did the Taxols. Ladies, never did I get diarrhea. Never did I get vomiting. Never did I get any of those side effects. The only side effect I got that was horrible on Taxol was I couldn't sleep. Like, I was up for hours and days. I would go to work perfectly fine, like if I slept all night, had perfect energy. Those steroids really were strong. No matter what I tried, I couldn't get tired. But I was functioning perfect, so it didn't bother me. The side effects were very low. I took the pills thinking I needed them for the nausea. I never needed them. I never got nauseated. Listen, it was a breeze. Okay, so I go and, I go to all my doctor's appointments, and the doctor I never had to cancel an appointment except the neutropenia one. That one's already, in the past. From there on, I never had to cancel an appointment, never was late to an appointment, never missed an appointment. My blood work was always perfect, never had an issue with that. Everything was smooth sailing. So I finished my Taxol. Now, one thing, ladies, in the cancer center, they do not have a bell. And I was like, why not? I want to ring a bell. And they explained to me why, and I respected it. But I said, I'm not missing out on ringing a bell. So about 2 years ago, while I was walking in a Goodwill store, I found this bell. True story. I found this bell in a cart, okay? This bell was meant for me. It was in a cart that I truly, honestly, I kid you not, ladies, thought was just a cart sitting there for the people to put the stuff back. There was nobody near it. So I picked up the bell and I put it in my cart. Well, a few minutes later, this guy goes and gets his cart and wheels it around. I felt bad, but I hid that bell. I put a whole bunch of clothes on it, and I waited till he left. And I purchased this bell. If I only knew what I was going to use this bell for. Ladies, this is the bell I took with me to ring at the cancer center. My son's sleeping, so I don't want to ring it, but at the cancer center, I had my bell. I had my doctor come down. She was so impressed by what I did because I brought this big sign, celebrating my moment. I had on a crown. I had on a sachet that said fighter on both. I walked in there with confidence. I was bald, and I rang my bell with my doctor. Yes, I did. And everybody clapped, of course. We did a little video. Everybody brought me my certificate, the nurses. It was a great experience. And I looked at the ladies that were there in that center that day that were next to me, and I said, don't give up. You'll be here soon. And they all said thank you and smiled, of course. And that was June 2nd of 2020. So here we are. I got furloughed in March. Actually, my company sent me home 4 weeks before country shut down. And they told me, look, we care about your health. This pandemic seems like it's getting serious. We're going to send you home with pay. Please don't mention it to anybody. Nobody knows about this, just the owner. So I said, thank you. He did me a huge favor. So then 4 weeks later, we get furloughed. Well, I had to be included in the furlough, so I went on unemployment. Listen, the pandemic did me justice, okay? I was able to go to all these appointments for my Taxol with no worries. I went to my doctor's appointments. A few of the issues that I did have was my bones hurt really bad for a while, like my joints. And I told the doctor, I'm like, Doc, there's something wrong. It's like, and it lasted for a while. And I'm convinced that was from chemo. Even though she tells me it wasn't, I'm convinced it was. I know your bones, you get achy and all, but mine were like, they were stiff, and it was due to, trust me, to chemo. Because that all went away after I stopped. So June 2nd, I was done. June 3rd, I had scheduled for all of my appointments. I jumbled up all my appointments into one day for the tests after, you do your treatment. They send you for all these tests. And I don't remember exactly which ones they were. I know one was a heart test because for the radiation, they were all to get radiation cleared, by the way. So I did everything on June 3rd because I wanted to be ready for when my job called me back. I didn't know when they were going to call me back, so I didn't want to have all these appointments scattered and then me go back to work and have to miss already. So even though I'm on an FMLA, I still didn't. I'm a working girl. I believe in going to work every day. So June 3rd, I went to all my appointments, got that out of the way. Well, June 30th, I was called back to work. Now, July 3rd was supposed to be my lumpectomy, my surgery. But then they said, well, we can't because we're closed on that day in observance of July 4th. So they had to push it to July 10th. Well, the Lord knows what he was doing because he's in control. So I said, okay. So July 10th, told my job about it. Ladies, I did the surgery on Friday, okay? I rested Saturday and Sunday, and I was back to work on Monday. True story. So when I get into the operating room, well, not the operating room, the observation room, where they prep you and all that good stuff. You have the social worker coming, insurance lady coming, anesthesiologist coming, nurses coming, making sure you're okay. They hook you up with the IV, and the surgeon comes. And he explains to me, the procedure and all this. And I look at him and I say, Doc, I'm confiding in you. I'm confiding in you. And he said, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. Now, backing up a little bit, when I saw my oncologist the first time, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'll mention it again if I already did. I told the doctor, I said, listen, Doc, I know you're telling me I have cancer, and I'm going to do everything you tell me to do, but I know in my heart, God has a different plan for me. I know he's telling me I don't have cancer. He's saying he's going to use me for something. He sure has. I found my calling. My calling was to uplift people who are going through cancer. And the only way for me to do that is to know the journey, to experience, to know what I'm talking about. Because doctors are there to heal you, but if they've never had cancer, they have no clue what it's really like. Your family members, the ones who are there for you, they're there and they feel understanding, but they really don't know what we're going through. Only we know what we're going through because we could relate. We walk on the same path. So after surgery, came home. My daughter brought me lunch, so I didn't have to cook. She brought me lunch and dinner, actually. And, everything was fine. I even slept on this side. I had no complications. Ladies, the scar, you could hardly even see. The surgeon did an amazing, beautiful job. He did one scar, was able to take lymph nodes and everything out from right on that side. Didn't have to go through any other, incision or location. And he went ahead and, he came back. When I woke up, he says everything's good. The margins are clear. There was nothing in the lymph nodes that he saw. Thank you, Jesus. So I go back to work Monday. Everything was fine, ladies. It was fine. So from then on, every appointment for my radiation and Zalota happened to fall on a special person's birthday, somebody in the family. So August 11th was my first day of radiation. I had radiation on my son's birthday. I ended my radiation on my dad's birthday. I started Zalota on a friend's birthday and ended it on my daughter's birthday. It was pretty miraculous, I know. But anyway, ladies, so within this journey, Hernan has always kept in communications with me. We just didn't see each other for an entire year. He had his health problems. I had my health problems. We just chose to, I didn't go anywhere except to the doctor, and neither would he. He even, he does all his schooling, virtually, so he didn't have to have contact with his students or anything. So the journey was amazing. Let me tell you, back up to Christmas time when, Christmas Eve, I went to go see my brother. My whole entire family was there. It was pretty amazing. Everybody did not worry about Christmas Eve. Everybody worried about me. We all got together. Everybody prayed for me. Everybody told me what they were going to do, what role they were going to play in. Everybody told me they wanted to be part of it. Everybody told me they wanted to take part in a chemo session. So it was like a really, really beautiful thing. My family came together. My in-laws are my second parents. They were there for me. My mother-in-law would cook for me. She would tell me that there's always a bed there for me. Great people and friends, and it's just like everybody was a magnet when they found out what I had. Now, it's pretty amazing how God works. And, I'm going to go on a clinical trial soon. I'm waiting. It's really like delayed, which I have no idea why. But I already told the nurse that, I'm a little impatient at this point. I'm 5 weeks post chemo now. I haven't been on chemo. Listen, I got all my energy back. Neuropathy, the little sensation I felt in my fingers, completely gone. The only thing that I still have is I get a little bit of pain in my joints. And that's it. But ladies, let me go back to the radiation. Okay, when I started radiation, I didn't tell you this part. So after surgery, everything went fine. Then August 11th is when I started the radiation. But in between there, I had to get the testings and I had to meet with the radiation oncologist, which she was absolutely amazing. Listen, this lady, her name is Dr. Takita. She's apparently world known. She has people from around the world who come to see her for treatment. And she walked in there and she sat down and she literally unfolded my story from beginning to the point where we're at that moment without looking at any notes. She had nothing in her hands. I'm like, how did you remember all of that? Like, she was precise on dates, on happenings. I was like flabbergasted. So anyway, they talked about my heart because it's on the left side and where it was positioned. The radiation was going to touch a piece of my heart, and they were afraid of that. They had to do tests to see, because when we breathe in, when we're on that table, what happens is our cage separates from our heart, and it gives it a little bit of room. So they wanted to make sure that that all of that worked well, and she was very precise on it. So I get into the radiation. I started my radiation on August 11th. Ladies, from day 1 to the last day, 20 rounds. I laid on that table. The first day, listen, every time I went there, it was overwhelming. But the first day, obviously, you don't know. They have to position you. You got to go through, where they have to do the pre preparation, where they have to know exactly where the radiation is going to go before you're actually starting radiation. So they did that. So obviously the day I went to radiation, they knew exactly where they had to put the machine in the whole 9 yards. I would lay on that table, close my eyes, imagine Jesus' hand over my heart, so my heart wouldn't get damaged. Ladies, I went through 20 rounds of radiation. Not one tiny notice of skin coloration. I use the aloe once in a while, as they told me to do, because, I listen to what the doctors say. But most of the time I didn't. I didn't get red. I didn't get itchy. I didn't get bubbly. I didn't get suntannish. Nothing. The doctor looked at me when I was done, and she goes, "Your skin didn't even change color." I was like, "I know, because I had Jesus protecting me." And she looked at me and she said, "Amen." And she's like, "Seriously, this is like impressive." I was like, "Doc, I can't explain it." Then I explained to her what I did, and she was like, "Wow, you're a faithful person." I said, "Absolutely I am." So radiation was over. Never had any issues. I could tell you, my breast did get hard. Not hard, but it did get more firmer than this one. Doctor said that's because of the radiation. The coloration on my nipple went away. It's not, it's like white now. And she said that's from the radiation. My menstrual, chemo throws you into a menopause, early menopause. I got my last menstrual the week of February 14th. That was the last time I got my menstrual of 2020. So I've gone way over a year, and I haven't gotten it back, and that's okay. So I was thrown into menopause. I don't get those hot flashes. I don't get those mood swings. I don't get any of that, thankfully. I do know that if you eat turmeric, it will give you hot flashes. My boss told me that, and I tried it, and yep, it's really true, and it lasts a few days. Anytime I eat turmeric, I get these hot flashes, and I know it's from that because I'll stop and it goes away. And ladies, the journey has been a journey that has been easy for me. Everything's worked out in my favor, from my walking angel who stepped into my life, all the way to the furlough, the pandemic that it closed the country, and I was able to still earn my money through unemployment and pay my bills, and yet be home healing myself, going through all of the staying away from the hospital, staying away from people, to not get sick with the virus. I did most of my appointments virtually when it came to my oncologist. She would call me in maybe every 4 weeks to go see her so she could feel, and everything went great. The hospital where I went, the cancer center, they never closed. Every time I would go in there, I would always thank them for being there, and I still do till today. I tell them thank you, and they're like, we don't get that. I'm like, well, you get it from me. So ladies, I told you I'm going to skip parts, and I might have to back up a little bit, so let me back up. When I got out of the hospital in the beginning of my journey, I told you that my daughter had got me, the whole entire setup. Well, Hernan had in his car, okay, Lysol wipes, and he had ordered me 200 masks, and he said, you need to arm yourself. Now, talking about arming yourself, that's pretty much my testimony, ladies. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. I know I probably forgot some of the things, but it is what it is. But as far as the dates and how everything unfolded, that's how it went. As I said, I never missed a day of work. I got furloughed. I was able to stay home those 3 months, 4 months actually, because they paid me an extra month. I was able to be home. When I went back to work, I still had vacation days, which covered the rest of my doctor visits, and everything fell into place the way it was supposed to. So I had absolutely no hard times. Okay, even when I would go to the chemo, I didn't have to pay for parking, because usually you do. Valet parking was free. Everything fell into place the way it should have. And my friend Hernan, he says, you are textbook story. You are the story that the book says how things should fall into place. I'm like, hey, that's Jesus who walked me. So with my testimony, ladies, I want to tell you, not everybody's the same. Yes, some people have higher stages and grades of the cancer than I had. Mine was stage 2, grade 2B. And, after the third, yes, after the third chemo of AC, they sent me in for a test to see, if it shrunk. It did a lot. And I never touched this side. I still don't really touch neither one of my breasts, like feeling them or all that good stuff, because it's still just all, I just need to adjust. It'll get back into place, maybe, I don't know, in a year or so. But my numbness, ladies, it went away. I don't have numbness anymore. I'm left-handed, by the way. I don't have numbness. I had all this was numb until 8 months. 8 months later, it went away. Just recently. So those are all the good things to look forward to. You do gain some of your stuff back. You do lose some of the feelings that you felt in the beginning, like the neuropathy. If the medication goes on too long, and you're feeling neuropathy, you got to stop it so you don't damage those nerves. The Zolota, I was on that for 6 months. That did give me hand, foot, and mouth syndrome. I did get sores on my feet. They lasted 3 days after I stopped the medication, maybe 4. The first dose, it gave me a little worse than the rest. I told my doctor about it. She said, okay, take 3 pills in the morning, 2 pills in the evening, versus 3 pills in the morning, 3 pills in the evening. I dropped 1, worked perfect. I went all the way up to round number 8. She was impressed because she says, listen, you went all the way through Taxol, and not everybody gets there. And that's the reason why the cancer centers don't have bells. At least the one I'm at. And you went all the way through your Zolota. Most people stop before round 8, and you did it. And she says, I'm proud of you. And you are boring because you never give me anything to challenge. I'm like, what can I say, Doc? God's got my back. So with that all being said, ladies, you gotta have hope during this journey. It's scary. Do I worry? Of course I worry. I'm always gonna worry. It's like, but I did not let the devil win. Okay, while I was showering, okay, during my chemos, while I was showering, I would imagine the water flushing the tumor out, flushing out of my body that cancer, and I would tell that cancer, you're evicted. You're not allowed in my body. You're not wanted in my body. You are unwanted, and you are to leave. You are to be evicted now. And I would imagine it washing away every time I took a shower. And I still do that. And you know what, ladies, I put affirmations, I put messages of positivity to my eye level. So when I walk out of my bathroom, or I walk into my bathroom, or I walk into my bedroom, I see these notes. I have dry erase boards. I have the mirror. I have a message on my mirror in my bedroom. I have an envelope that my granddaughter gave me, which she was totally amazing. Listen, ladies, I would go to Homestead while I was furloughed, and my daughter, she was supposed to move to Orlando, and she stopped her plans because of my diagnosis, and she just moved to a cheaper location, which was down in Homestead, 40 minutes from me, but it was a lot better than 3 hours. And the first time I went there, my granddaughter gave me such a warm welcome. She brought me upstairs. It was two-story. She brought me upstairs, and she said, Grandma, can you please stand right here while I go in my room and make sure I don't have anything on the floor or anything that's not supposed to be there before you enter my room and see it for the first time? I said, okay. Listen, she was 5 years old back then. I said, okay. So I walked in there. Ladies, this little girl, friggin' 5 years old, welcomed me into her bedroom. And she said, it was bunk beds. My son had bunk beds, and I wound up giving them to the grandkids. There were 2. My son was just 1, and I had it in case he had a friend come over. But anyway, he outgrew them, so I gave it to the granddaughters. And she had one side of the bed with a pillow and a blanket, and the other side of bed with another pillow and a blanket. Mind you, this was twin. I slept with that little girl many, many nights. Yeah, she had her bed ready for Grandma. It was an awesome welcome. And she was so graceful. She was, I mean, listen, the love that this child gave me and still gives me is, it's irreplaceable, ladies. She would grab my head. She would kiss me on my head. She would tell me I'm beautiful. She would say, it's okay, Grandma, if you don't have hair. I still love you. I mean, she would uplift me. She, you know, when I was sad, she was like, you don't need to be sad, Grandma. You have me. And she would just tell me these amazing, amazing things. And then her sister eventually came out of her shell and became that uplifting little girl too, because she was little, she was scared, you know, obviously. You know, she didn't want to touch my head in the beginning. Well, Sophia, she was like all crazy about it. She was proud of my head. Ladies, listen, one day I'll never forget. I walked into the house. She did this many times. I walked into the house of my mother-in-law, or even if it was in her house, or if she came over to my house, and if I had my cap on, she would say, Grandma, she would say, come here. She would pull that cap off. And she was like, you're in the house. You need to let your hair breathe. But when we were out in public, she knew not to do that. It was amazing. And she just always knew what to say and what to tell Grandma and what to do, when to hug me. Amazing little girl. And my son is also an amazing young man. He dealt with it like a man. He stood up to the plate. He did what he had to do for Mom. He would prepare me breakfast. He dealt with it best as he can. And my little girl, which is 29, she was 28 then, she is the one I go to for everything. Any little pain I feel, whatever it is, and she's the one who has all the kids. I help her out a lot. I stay with the kids as many times as I can. I always have fun-filled things for the kids to do. They learn how to make chocolate covered strawberries. I have them baking. They help me decorate cakes. They do their own little cakes. I photograph them. So it's always a win-win situation. They come to Grandma's house to learn. Okay, I have dry erase boards. I make the little one do her alphabet, all on the dry erase board. When we get here, it's a learning, fun learning. And that's the way I have handled my situation. I've always looked at this journey as a positive journey. I didn't let it get the best of me. I didn't let it bring me down. Of course, in the beginning, you cry. You're devastated. You're confused. You don't know what to do. You're afraid. You're intimidated by what's in front of you. You're lost, and all that's normal, ladies. We're thrown into the battlefield, and you know, now you got to go through chemo. That's the gun and the bullets. But that gun and bullets, that needle and chemo is the blood of Jesus being inserted in you. So it could be flowed through your body and it kills those cancer cells one by one. Okay? Let it do its job. Imagine every time you get that chemo, you close your eyes and you imagine that red devil, which I call Jesus's blood, just flowing through your body and eliminating those cancer cells and killing them. And that's why your tumor shrinks and eventually goes away. For some of us, others we need it removed. But listen, ladies, don't give up. This road is hard. It's not an easy road. People don't have it as easy as I do, but I truly believe that God put me on this road to help people. I tell myself all the time, one day you're going to be on stage. Okay, there's a song I want to write about it. I want cancer patients to be the choir. I'm taking a little long on it because I'm not really dedicating the time needed because I got so much stuff going on, but it will happen. It'll happen. Okay? One day I'll stand on stage and I will give my testimony. Okay? I'm an uplifter. I believe that in your heart and in your soul, you got to have faith, hope, love, and you need to love yourself. You need to love yourself enough where you want to get healed, and you're going to do whatever you need to do to get healed. And that's all we got to do, ladies. It's like, listen, you got family to live for. You got people who love you. As I say on my videos, you got people who need you. You got dates to meet. You got graduations to attend. You have weddings to be part of. You got birthdays to celebrate. And the only way to get there is to give your all, to fight and to have faith and to know you're going to get cured. If you carry negative thoughts and negative energy with you, that's going to bring you down. You need to think of positive, uplifting thoughts that are going to raise you up and build your body and let your body fight. It's in the mind, ladies. Have a positive mind in all you do. In anything you do, take every negative situation and find the positives in it. Every negative situation has a positive situation. What is my positive situation? Number one, I'm cancer free. And number two, God has led me to where he needs me to be. And that is to get to you. That's all I'm doing. I'm following his path. And I believed in him and believe in him. And you know, there's one thing. God's promises. God doesn't break promises. Humans do. We break promises to God all the time. But this God doesn't break promises to us. He keeps his promise. And you know, that hard journey that you're walking through, sometimes just look and feel. And you're going to realize you're not walking down this journey. You're being carried down this journey in the arms of Jesus. And you're going to get through this. And you know what? People are going to be proud of you. You are making a difference in your family tree. Here you are, this strong person, okay, who's battling cancer, but stood up to it face to face and challenged it. You, in your family tree, as the years go on, you're going to be looked at as a hero because you gave a good fight. And for our survivors, listen, we're superwoman, okay? We battled and we won something that the devil thought he was going to win. But I squashed that son of a gun like a grape, and I splattered all his ugliness out of my body because it was unwanted. The devil's not in my circle of life. He's not welcome in my home. My home belongs to Jesus. And in my heart, I carry Lord Jesus in my heart. And for those who do as well, hang on to that faith. It doesn't matter what faith you follow, what you believe in, okay? That's all your decisions. And, you know, I don't mix with that. But for all you Christians and all you who believe in Christ, keep that faith strong. Remember the beginning of my shirt. Keep it alive. Ladies, I want you to have a beautiful day. I want you to take my testimony and I want you to use it as an inspiration and know that if you walk this journey with a positive mind, you're going to see how things are going to fall into place and make things easier for you. Okay, I know some women say, I'm positive, I think positive, that's all I do, but still things still go wrong for me. You know what, ladies? Burn some incense in your home, take some sage, just clean your home, get all the negative energy out, tell all the negative energy to leave, open up a window and just give your house a cleaning. And then start focusing on being positive again. Write affirmations, write notes where you could see them. All over your house, on your refrigerator, and your bathroom mirror, and on your bedroom door, on your bedroom mirror, and your car steering wheel if you have to. It doesn't matter where, just where you could see those notes, and you could say it to yourself over and over and over again. Before you go to sleep, tell yourself, I will wake up with my tumor smaller and less cancer every single day till it's gone. You tell yourself that every night. I am cancer free. I am cancer free. Doctor says I have cancer, but I am cancer free. I will not let the devil win. I will not. I refuse to let him win. Okay? Enemies walk around us, but walking angels walk around us more. And you know what, ladies? You, whether you know it or not, have been, will be, or are a walking angel to someone. Just like someone is a walking angel to you. We all are. God uses each and every one of us at our own time. Okay? That smile that you give to a cancer patient as you're entering or exiting your chemo appointment, that smile could make their chemo moment a little bit better. That thumbs up or that little message, hey, everything's going to be fine. As you're walking through, smile. Give people positive messages throughout your day. When you do that, you are actually uplifting yourself without you even knowing it. And that's what we need. The more power and strength we build in our bodies to fight this, the more our bodies is going to fight. Ladies, this will conclude my video. May God bless you. Have a blessed journey. Confide in the Lord. Confide in your family. Show your family appreciation. Accept the help that they give you. Know that you will overcome this battle and that you will be a warrior, and you're going to look back at these moments and you're going to say, I'm proud of myself from where I started to where I've come. And know that you did not do this journey alone. You got an entire village behind you, ladies. Each person who plays a part of this journey is part of your village. Your doctors, the nurses, your family members, your spouse, your children, your co-workers, friends on the street. There are people who come into your life for a moment, and there are people that come into your life for a lifetime. And you must appreciate each one of those people that do come into your life for an hour, or that come into your life and decide to stay. Each one of them have a very strong a role to play in your life and part of this journey. Accept it, appreciate it, and then pass it forward. Pay it forward, ladies. Leave positive messages for other ladies. If you see that someone's down, prayers. Don't just put prayers. Pray. I'm praying for you, sister. You got this. Give them more hope. Just put a little bit more energy into your message, and you're going to see that energy is going to expel not only onto the person who's reading it, but onto the person who's saying it, which is you, me. God bless everybody. Have a beautiful journey, as I said, and never find a way to give up. Always find a way to continue.